Hello, good friends. This is a video in general about Norway. Right now we're going to talk about history, politics and military.
Norwegian history started about 10,000 BC, when the great inland ice sheet started to retreat and inhabitants started to come to Norway. They went alongside the coast where it was more bearable for life because it was warmed by the Gulf Stream. These people lived by fishing cod and hunting deer and other prey. It was really hard to live in Norway because of its rough landscape and cold climate. About 1000 BC, the Sami people came to Norway. They still live in Norway today, making them one of the oldest folks in the world. At the time, weather went colder, so they had to build more structures and get better tools. The Celts were experts at that, so the Norwegians took knowledge from the Celts and got better tools and weapons. The Viking Age is a period of time which lasted from the 800th century to the mid-11th century. It was located in northern Europe, especially in Scandinavia, where Norway is. The people who lived at the time is known today as Vikings, but actually only the people who went raiding by the sea was called Vikings. The direct translation of Viking is seaman. Vikings believed in Norse mythology, which had the gods like Odin, Thor and Freya in it. A lot of countries either see Norwegian men as big Vikings or gay socialists today. We Norwegians today are really proud of our history.
Norwegian politics. Norway is a democratic parliament and a monarchy. That means we have a king and a queen. Norway uses the separation of power as a political system to prevent someone with greater power to use it wrongly, and leaving most cases to the democracy. The executive power is exercised by the King's Council, or the cabinet. This cabinet is led by Prime Minister Erna Solberg from the Conservative Party of Høyre, which means right. The legislative power is split between both the government and the Storting. The judiciary power is independent to make the system fair for all parts. Norway is divided into 19 different counties, and there's representatives from each and every one in the Storting. The Storting currently has 169 different representatives from a total of 9 different parties. This means we have a spectrum of political opinions stretching all the way from the communists to the conservatives. This makes a great democracy, and the Norwegian people are really happy with the political system we have because it's fair and it's difficult to corrupt.
Norway is a country with a small population. A small population means that we do not have a big military. In Norway right now we have 26,000 active personnel and 46,000 reserve personnel. In Norway only 1.7 million is fit for service. So all in all, our manpower may not seem as impressive, but we have a very advanced military. We get a lot of our military vehicles from other countries, especially the US of A. So from all the stats we have now, we can say that the Norwegian military is not for attacking countries, but defending. Because Norway has a very big coastline, we have a very impressive navy. The navy in Norway have 6 frigates, 6 submarines, 16 patrol crafts and 9 mine warfare vessels. The Norwegian Marines are also very impressive. They are specially trained to execute hard missions and sieges. So all in all, the Norwegian military is for defending and not attacking. This is why the military is called Forsvaret, which means the defense.
And now we're going to talk a little bit about culture, cuisine, sports, and famous people.
Culture. First, we have the Sami people. And there you have first the national flag. They are the indigenous Sami people. There are about 40,000 Sami peoples in Norway. Just 15,000 are talking Sami. That's maybe because of the community today, but mostly because what happened early in the 1700s. Then they were Norwegianized. The Sápmi, that's actually called the Sami country, or it's not our own country, but it's kind of. They take place in North Scandinavia, mostly of Nordland and Troms in Norway, and over Finland, some pieces of Russia and some of Sweden. They're living off reindeer husbandry, small holdings and fishing. Today most of the Sami people is living like normal Norwegians. They're not living with reindeer and small holdings and fishing. They have a job and they make money like normal Norwegians. We have the typical Sami outfit, kofte, is it called? Now we have some typical Norwegians. We have brown cheese, and also we have the national costume, and we have trolls, very popular in Norway. And also we hear often that Norwegians are born with skis on the legs. National Day. On National Day is actually the 17th of May, and then we are celebrate with eating ice cream and sausages.
Fårikål. A rough translation and literal meaning of fårikål in English is mutton and cabbage. Fårikål is a dish consisting of cabbage and mutton which has been layered in a big pot, covered in black peppercorns, salt and simmered until the meat has become really tender. It's usually served with potatoes here in Norway. Lapskaus. Lapskaus is a stew consisting of either minced meat, sausages or other kinds of meat such as lamb if you have any leftovers to use. Lapskaus also consists of all the typical stew stuff such as carrots, Swedish turnips and potatoes. Lutefisk. Lutefisk is dried white fish. In preparation it is to be soaked in cold water for 5 to 6 days. It can be translated to live fish. Often it's served with potatoes, bacon, melted butter and green peas. Sometimes we use grated brown cheese instead of bacon. Lutefisk is a traditional dish, and some people eat it during Christmas time or on the 17th of May, which is the date of Norway's birth. Cod. Cod is very popular in many countries. Cod can be fried fish, boiled fish, and a lot of other dishes. Some examples are nulja, fish cakes, and the live fish. We eat a lot of cod here in Norway, since cod is one of, if not the most fished fish in Norway. Pinnekjøtt. Pinnekjøtt is a typical food to eat for Christmas in Norway. It consists of lamb or mutton ribs and is served with pureed swede and potatoes. For a fact, 31% of Norwegians have said that pinnekjøtt is what they eat as their Christmas dinner. Ribbe. Ribbe, which is translated to pork ribs in English, is another quite common choice of food for Christmas dinner. 60% of Norwegians have said that they usually have a ribbe on their Christmas dinner table. But a lot of them have also said that pinnekjøtt or some other dishes are what they eat. The ribs, which have been fried and prepared for some time, are usually served with Brussels sprouts, sauerkraut or red cabbage. They can also be served with different kinds of sausage, apple slices, prunes or potatoes.
Cross-country skiing is one of many skiing type sports in Norway. Cross-country skiing started in the 1800s when the Norwegian military formed a training contest where they had to race on skis and shoot on targets with their rifles. The contest quickly grew into a sport. One of the earliest public skiing contests occurred in Tromsø in 1843. The main goal in cross-country skiing is to complete the distance on skis with the shortest possible time. Norway is one of the best countries in the world when it comes to skiing and winter sports. Norway has in total from 1923 to 2017 417 medals in skiing. Norway have 159 gold medals, 131 silver medals and 127 bronze medals. The most known skiing athletes from Norway is Peter Northug, Therese Johaug and Marit Bjørgen. Football is one of, if not the most popular sports in Norway. Football is a sport where two teams with 11 players use skill, endurance and teamwork to get the ball in the other team's goal. The most known Norwegian football team is Rosenborg and Brann. These two teams play in the Elite Series or Tippeligaen. Last year Rosenborg won the Elite Series 2016 with 69 points. On second place came Brann with 54 points. Internationally, Norway isn't the best country in football. Last time we qualified to the World Championship was in 1998. Some football players from Norway is Jon Arne Riise, Martin Ødegaard and Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Handball is a sport where two teams with 7 players on each team pass the ball using their hands with the aim of throwing the ball in the goal of the other team. A standard match consists of 2 periods of 30 minutes, making the match last 60 minutes in total. The Norwegian women's handball team became world champions in 2015. They got 3rd place in the Olympic Games in 2016 and 1st place in the European Championship in 2016. The Norwegian men's team got 2nd place in the World Championship in 2017. They got 4th place in the Europa Championship in 2016.
Okay friends, and now we're going to talk about geography, nature and climate.
Geography. Norway is a relatively big country by European standards, with 385,000 square kilometers, but has only a population at about 5.2 million people. This means Norway's population density is really small, with around 16 people per square kilometer. The nature consists mostly of forest and mountains, and only 3% of the area is used for agriculture. This is mostly because of the cold temperatures, as well as the rough nature and the short space between mountains and hills and such. Norway is bigger than only the mainland, and actually have a few big islands like Svalbard, Jan Mayen, and a large part of Antarctica. Norway borders to Sweden, Finland and Russia. Norway's coastline stretches over 100,000 kilometers, which makes it the 2nd longest after Canada. Now we're going to talk about our hometown, our language, and the differences between the North and the South Norway.
Our hometown. We live in a small town with a population of around 300 persons. We have Berg Skole, Senjopen kindergarten, 1 small shop and plus 1 kiosk. We have Nergard, That's actually a fishing industry. They're fishing, selling and marketing fish all around Europe and other places in the world. We have also Axel Hansen, that's also a fishing industry, and they're actually doing the same as Negar. We have Coldwater Prawns, that's actually a shrimp factory, and Skittenord, our shrimp shell factory. We have Senjahallen. There is everyone are just hanging with their friends, playing some football, or they just are there for hanging. We have also some sea cages, and that's Nega and Axel Hansen's. We also have a very nice nature, and that makes that we could go on some mountains, and that means a lot to us. Here is the Senjopen, and there is Senjahallen, and there is Axel Hansen, and there is Nergar, and there you have Berg Skole, and actually a store. It's a store, but it's called Matkroken, and the translation is food corner, but it's a store, it's not a corner with food. And there you have Mix Kiosk. We have some sea cages. We have maritime installation, and Skittenord, and Coldwater Prawns.
There are in total around 4.5 million native speakers of Norwegian. In the Norwegian alphabet we have 3 more letters than in English. These are Æ, Ø and Å. They're vowels. We have 2 variations of Norwegian, bokmål and nynorsk. When Denmark was forced to give Norway to Sweden in 1814, bokmål was our language, but we only called it Norwegian then. But in the 1840s, a man with the name of Ivar Aasen meant that bokmål was too similar to Danish, so he wanted to make a new language. He started wandering all over the land to all of the people who also had opinions about the language and collected information to make a new language. Once he had enough, he started writing poems in the new language he had made, which he called the country language. Nowadays, bokmål is the most common primary language in our country, with nynorsk as a secondary language, but there are some places where it's reversed. As you can see on this map, the orange places have bokmål as primary language, nynorsk as a secondary. The blue area has nynorsk as primary, bokmål as secondary, and the grey area are neutral. Every place in Norway has its own dialect. On this map we can see all the general dialects, although every place has a different dialect, maybe even just slightly. The yellow is Northern Norwegian, Trøndersk in dark blue, Western Norwegian in orange, and Eastern Norwegian in light blue.